So where we left yesterday? No, that philosophical part. Before that, which topic we were discussing? Huh? No, in the 6th unit. What was the topic I was discussing? Status and problem, right? We started with this. We have finished this. No, we have completed. We have taken notes also, no? Have we or not? So today we'll be seeing two topics. One is ethical dilemma, okay, and the other one is conflict of interest. So do you have any idea about that? We have completed this, no? Done, no? Completely over. So where we left? Supreme? No, that is philosophical part. Before that, what we completed from the 6th unit. That's it, no? For everything we have given definitions. Anna, we completed that, no? The status and the problems. What are the problems which are arising? No, until that we have done. So I have given simplified notes. I'll be forwarding some notes for you. That will have much more content in it. You can read, then you can also use it. Instead, I have made it in a precise manner in the class. Okay. So today now we'll start with. So first we should know what it is. Sometimes question directly appears from this topic. What is ethical dilemma? What is ethical dilemma? Or what is conflict of interest? These types of questions will appear from this topic also. So what is this ethical dilemma? When to ethics. See, ethical dilemma means it's a confused situation. No, we don't know what to do. It's a broadest term than conflict of interest. In conflict of interest, if you take, okay, this is a term where the interest of an individual, okay. So it itself is called interest, conflict of interest. That means the interest of an individual coincides with his official duty or coincides with his objective decision making in his official duty. So that is conflict of interest. Even in this conflict of interest, we come across two terms. One is apparent and another one is potential. So this apparent means the real conflict of interest which is there in that particular situation, which is existing. And suppose you are an officer, so you are responsible for checking that whether the industries are following proper regulations in discharge of waste. Let us consider like that. Now you already ordered to close an industry that because they are not following proper discharge mechanisms. Okay, then this person, he comes and meets you, the owner of the industry or organization who's owning it. He comes and meets you personally with huge sum of money, a lump sum of money. So now what happens? Your official duty is to take care of that this person does not act in an unlawful way or in an illegal way. Okay, this is one thing which you have to consider. That's your official duty. Objective decision you have to take, or fair or merit basis you have to act. But now what happens? Another side, there is something which is going to coincide with the official duty. What it is? Money. Now if money comes, what happens? We may get diluted, no, from the merit basis. So here there is an apparent, a real conflict of interest situation is existing. So this is existing situation. And in potential conflict of interest, there may, in the future, there is a possibility it may occur. For example, you are an officer who's responsible for allotting tender. Okay. Now, a lot of companies has applied for tender. In that, one industry or one company which is applied for tender, is a very popular company, which is also known for its quality. Let us keep like that way. But what happens here? Again, your daughter or son, anyone, may be aiming to get into that company to a higher position. So let us take like that, assume like that. Now 2-3 companies are there, they have quoted, they came up for the tender, but you know that this is a qualified, these companies provide a qualified materials also while constructing the bridge. Then which one you will choose? You may choose that company, but there is some interest which is there lying inside. Okay. Even though A and B, 2 companies, let us take, this A and B came up with the same amount. Okay. So both are known for their quality. In this case, Mr. X, let us take, his son or daughter want to enter into the A company. Now, if he is trying to choose A, now both came up with the same amount more or less, and both are going to give qualified service, but now he is choosing A, then what happened? There may occur a conflict of interest in the future, because if the company person comes and interacts to him, he is the one who has allotted the tender. What happened? There may occur a conflict of interest, because he is assuming that, okay, in future, if he comes, we can take some benefit from this person. No, that's how he is allotting the tender to. Okay, so that's potential conflict of interest. So conflict of interest means whenever our own personal interest is going to coincide with our objective decision making or objective work or official duty, that is called conflict of interest. Then what is ethical dilemma? So it's vast and it's broad than conflict of interest. Why we are saying like that? All the cases, all the issues which we are facing, no ethical issues when we are making a decision in our cases. Cases means what? The incidents which is going to take place in our life, especially when you are holding a your work, when you are trying to do your work as a civil servant, then that is called ethical dilemma. So there may 3 conditions of ethical dilemma. One is right versus right. Generally, we can put it as 2, right versus right ethical dilemma and right versus wrong ethical dilemma. In this, if you see right versus right ethical dilemma means it occurs in 2 ways. One, there are a lot of options. We don't know, all may seem right. Option A also is the ethical option. Option B is also ethical option. Option C is also ethical option. There is nothing wrong. Then you don't know which one to choose. That is a dilemma situation, that which one I have to prefer. Or sometimes it may occur that, you have opted for an option and that option leads to an unforeseen contingencies or consequences, we can say. Okay, the consequence may not be in the expected way. You expected that this will be the consequence and you have opted for that, but it does not end in that way. So this is right versus right. You have chosen the right option, but it may occur in such a way that the right may lead to a wrong consequence also. Okay, then right versus wrong. This is something which is equivalent to conflict of interest. That is why ethical dilemma is a wide, name where it includes the conflict of interest also. Conflict of interest is a subset of ethical dilemma. We can also say like that. Okay, just take some notes for that. And in our discuss all the cases here and all, because in case studies we are doing that only. So first we'll take definition for this term, then we'll move on to the next topic. Right? Ethical dilemma. Ethical dilemma. An ethical dilemma is a situation. Ethical dilemma is a situation. Ethical dilemma is a situation involving, ethical dilemma is a situation involving conflicting moral claims, and gives rise to such questions, as what ought I to do? What ought I to do? Inside double quotation you write, what ought I to do? And next question, what harm or benefit results? What harm or benefit results? The clock stopped. No, The moment I entered, the same time it's there. Huh? I think standing in the same position. No, I entered it at this time. No, it's or my eye is wrong. 9:40 only. No, please check and tell me. Same time it's standing with. Now it is 9:53, but it's 9:40. Okay. So then next, what harm or benefit results from this decision or action? What harm or benefit results from this action? Results from this decision or action? Write this name, Slettybo. Sletbo has identified three conditions. Has identified three conditions. Identified three conditions that gives rise to. Identified three conditions that gives rise to a dilemma situation. Gives rise to a dilemma situation. Identified three conditions that gives rise to a dilemma situation. These are, right? Number one condition. When two or more alternatives, when two or more options or alternatives, these are first one, first point. When two or more alternative are options, anything you can write, alternatives or options, seems to be equally justifiable. Seems to be equally justifiable. Equally justifiable. And it's hard to choose between them. And it's hard and it's difficult or hard to choose between them. Hard or difficult to choose between them. Second condition. Choose between those options. Choose between them. Okay, between them. Second, a wanted option leads to an unwanted consequences. A wanted option leads to an unwanted consequences. Unwanted consequences. And the third one, okay. In the third condition, you write the choice where one does not know. The choice where one does not know what is the right thing to do. The choice where one does not know what is the right thing to do. Right thing to do. No. Yes. Then you write types of ethical dilemma. Types of ethical dilemma. That first one. Right versus wrong. Right versus wrong. ORR. You just give another name also. Personal cost ethical dilemma. Right versus wrong. Don't write like this. Write RIGHT versus WRONG. No, don't do like this, man. Huh? Right versus wrong ethical dilemma, or you mention as personal cost ethical dilemma. Personal cost, COST. Personal cost ethical dilemma. Okay. Personal cost ethical dilemma. So you write arising from situations in which this, it arises from situations in which the ethical conduct arises from situations in which the ethical conduct results in significant conduct results in significant personal cost. Inside the bracket you write like loss of friendship, personal cost like loss of friendship, comma monetary loss, okay, comma monetary loss, loss of friendship, comma monetary loss, comma loss of employment, loss of employment, okay, etc., etc., etc. to the public servant decision maker, or to the decision maker, simply write to the decision maker, to the decision maker. Okay. Next one, right versus right, right versus right dilemma. It arises from situations, it arises from situations of two or more conflict sets of two or more conflict sets of bona fide ethical values, like justice versus mercy, trust versus loyalty, like this. In the cases we used to discuss, no, sometimes both the values comes into conflict, both seems right. Now empathy versus duty, like this we see, like some values crosses. There are some rules and regulations which has to be followed. At the same time, that you have to be empathetic towards the person. So these types of things comes under the right versus right ethical dilemma. So how will you solve these types of dilemmas if it is occurring? So what are the strategies we can use? Just write it, because so far they have not asked a question like that. They have asked only what is conflict of interest, what is ethical dilemma, types of ethical dilemma. This way, straightforward questions has come. Okay, sometimes they may ask what are the strategies you can use to solve it. Mention the strategies. Strategies are ways in solving ethical dilemma. Ethical dilemma. In that first one, the first strategy you write, golden rule. Golden rule. What is the golden rule? Already we have seen this. Do you remember? Somewhere in the attitude unit, we saw this. Inside the bracket, near the golden rule, you write rule of symmetry or rule of proportionality. Rule of symmetry. Yes?
Please
repeat. Yeah, ways in solving ethical dilemma. Okay, we are discussing the strategies to solve the dilemma situations. In that first one, we are writing is golden rule. Inside the near the golden rule, you make a bracket and then write rule of symmetry or rule of proportionality. Okay, so what is that? We have to treat others as we expect us to be treated by others. Okay, that is golden rule. Okay, so that means we have to be empathetic enough to consider or put ourselves in that situation and make a decision. Okay, where the victims, the one who is going to get affected by the decisions, should be us. Then how we would feel, how we would make a decision. So we have to consider in that way, right? Then we will be more sensitive towards the people's need. So put a hyphen and write the agent should take moral action. The agent should take moral action. The agent should take moral action through which he or she treat others. No, there is a saying, no. He or she will treat others. That's a saying like this, like father, like son, like mother, like son or daughter. Like this, we used to say, no, like teachers, like students. I come 10 minutes late, you come 20 minutes late to the classes. Now I'll be on time, I'll be waiting for you. In other days, like 10 minutes, I have to wait here. So I just make up my mind, okay, I'll enter 10 minutes later in the class, students will be there. Then what happens? Again, I enter 10 minutes later, again, you will be 10 minutes late than me. So it's not like I'm making a joke. I doesn't want you that you have to be punctually here, sharply at that time. No, it's for up to you. The thing is that, then I will come 20 minutes later. Then our classes will be there only for half an hour or 1 hour. I will be trying to make up after New Year. Now we take a resolution here. We all should be punctual. Then I have to expect how many people will be here. Now, New Year, you'll, yeah. Only for New Year, okay? So yes, we'll treat others in the way he or she would like to be treated. The way he or she would like to be treated, himself or herself, okay? Like to be treated in the way, action through which he or she, will treat others. He or she will treat others in the way he or she would like to be treated himself or herself. Okay. So that's how we have to make the decision. One thing. Second, rule of outcome. Second strategy is rule of outcome. Okay. So it takes into account. Takes into account of analyzing the consequences. Okay. It takes into account of analyzing the consequences. Analyzing the consequences of. It takes into account by analyzing the consequences of alternatives. And select and requires selecting an alternative that produces the best consequences, that produces best or good consequences. Mention like that. Best, we are giving best, why need good? Best consequences for the greatest number of people. That produces the best consequences for the greatest number of people. Inside the bracket, you write principle of utility or utilitarianism principle. Greatest number of people. Okay, greatest number of people. Inside the bracket, you write utilitarianism principle. No. So you can mention this when you're writing an exam, either as rule of outcome or utilitarianism principle. Okay. Then 5P strategy. You should also consider the 5P strategy. Whenever you are trying to analyze a case study, you have to take the 5 Ps. Just mention 5 Ps. Number one, problems. You have to first understand the problem. Okay, so that is problem. P. Put a hyphen and write. Understand the problem. First, identify and understand the problem. Through proper R&D. What is R&D? Research and development. Okay, so first you have to collect the facts related to the problem. Then you have to analyze it. Then you have to develop the solutions. So then second one, possibilities. Have you written? So second, possibility. So you have to come up with more choices, more alternatives. Now, if a problem is there, no single solution can solve a problem. If you're trying to form a solution, then there should be some alternatives also. Number A, number B. No, you used to do in films also they used to say plan A, plan B, plan C. Like this, there should be always some alternative plans related to the particular problem. Okay, so you mentioned that possibilities. So what are the alternative options available for the solutions? Okay, what are the alternative options? Or come out with alternative options. Mention like that. Come out with alternative options related to the problem. Alternative options related to the problem. Then people. Yes, people. So who are those people? The stakeholders. And especially you put stakeholders, comma, people means stakeholders. Stakeholders should be taken into account. Into account. And especially the interest of majority community, should be considered. Majority community should be considered. For example, here we cannot write the vulnerable sections should be considered. We have to consider the vulnerable sections or vulnerable people while making choices. But if you take that, especially case study related to evacuation of people from the site where the dam has to be constructed, that tribals are living. Tribals are minority peoples only. So they are vulnerable group, we can say. PVTG group. Let us consider like that. You know what is meant by PVTG. And so if this people has to be, if this people's interest has to be considered, then the complete state will suffer. So many people who are there residing in the state is not getting proper water facilities. So they will be suffering. So here we have to only consider the majority people's interest. Majority people is the common man who is residing in the state, who is suffering because of the lack of water facilities. So here we are providing good alternatives to those people. In this way only we have to choose. For that we are writing this. Okay. People. Then principles. Principles. PRINCAPLES. Principles. Principles. Put a hyphen and write. Give importance to values. No. Give importance to values along with rules and regulations. Values along with rules and regulations. Then priority. We are not saying choose values over rules. We are saying give importance to values along with the rules and regulations. Okay. If sometimes it is not able to follow, you have to go for an alternative option. Third alternative. Even the examiner, they themselves will ask in a case study, in such a case study, where there is complete contradiction, then he will ask, give some innovative method. Come up with a third alternative. He will ask you to select from either plan A or plan B. And sometimes he also asks, do you have any idea of solving this in a other way, in an alternate way? This way the question may appear. Okay, then last one, last P, priority. So there is something called as priority case study will appear for you. Priority. And 2 times it came, no? Have you ever noticed the old question paper? Priority means whom you are going to give priority. No, whom you are going to consider first. For example, one time the case study was like this. There was some natural disasters. Okay. So you are the officer of the particular district. Now you have to evacuate the people. There were various groups of people. Tourists, hospital, there is a hospital. So patients are there. Then in which way you are going to evacuate? This way they have come up with the question. This is something called as priority case study. One time in Uttarakhand Civil Service, they asked a question like this. I hope in future they may induct ethics also inside prelims. There is possibility. Okay. So what happens? Because your competitive IES exam, no, they are including ethical questions nowadays. Business ethics types of questions comes there for the preliminary part itself. So they asked a question like, you are a police officer. Okay, you are a women officer. You are heading to your station. On the way, you saw you saw people who met with an accident. In that, a brother and a sister got injured. So the brother was in a very serious condition, and the sister was she is also serious, but she has more possibility to recover. Okay, so in this situation, what will you do? Though there is nobody near, you are calling for an ambulance, but you have to help somebody. You have to first give first aid and all to some people. So whom you will prioritize in this situation? They gave an option also for you. They said, as you are a woman, you have to help a woman. These types of funny answers they have come up with. Then they said, no, the males are dominated in the society. So you have to first help the male. Even though he's not going to recover, you have to attend him. Now, these types of options they came up with. This is something called as priority case study. Which one you are going to prioritize? Sometimes it can be in the manner of persons, individuals, or sometimes it can be, one time a case like this has appeared. You are an officer. You are going to implement a scheme in your district. Now you are lack of fund. There is no fund. But from the above, the superiors, you are receiving a pressure. From your own department, you are receiving a pressure that you have to generate fund. You can do it, no? You can do it. You know that or not? You can do crowdfunding. You can invite some people, philanthropists to donate to your programs. You can do it. So now they ask that you have to generate money and run this program no matter what. So only option left with you is that you are inviting funds, but one corrupted politician has approached you. He is going to offer the fund to you, whether you will accept it or not. Either you have to accept or either you should not accept. This way question has come. So priority, which one you are going to give priority, for money or for your values? here. You know, sometimes these people who are very honest, as there may occur a potential conflict of interest in the future. If you're not now accepting a money given by a politician, in the future he may come to you and he may say that I came and I rescued you when you are in need of money. You know, now I need something, please do it. You know, he may also even ask the entire state, you have to provide to him. Now the entire district you have to write and give to him. So this way he may come with some request. So it may appear in the future. So this type of case also come. That is called priority case study. So whom you will give priority. Even when you are making a solution for a case study, you have to consider this priority. You have to keep this priority in your mind. Okay. Right. Now, excuse strategy. Excuse strategy. This you cannot use as a civil servant, but you can use as an individual. You know, private case study, individual case study also appearing, you know, sometimes. So excuse strategy. What is excuse strategy? A priority, put a hyphen and write priority. So here we have to consider always the priority in which we are going to make choices. The priority in which we are going to make choices. Priority in which we are going to make choices. It can be between individuals. Priority through which we are going to make choices. Okay, it can be between individuals or between value and a person. Or between value and a person. Value and a person, or between values itself. Okay, for each, if you want to give example, put a hyphen and write value and a person. You can write friendship versus. For value and a person, you can write friendship versus honesty. Friendship versus honesty. Any example? I'm giving a value to you. You give me an example. Friendship versus loyalty. Honesty. Lot of things we can bring. I'm giving friendship versus honesty. So he's asking help to you. So you are refusing it. Here, no friendship. For me, honesty is important. So even smaller, younger days, asking no. See, I have not studied, dude. Please show me your paper. Just you keep like this and write. I will peep and write from your paper. You're refusing it. Honesty. Then for you have written for individual versus value. Values versus value. Right? Something like that. For value versus value. Values versus value. So empathy versus impartiality. Any example? You can give like some people, you know, we can ask like a widower. You take a widower. She is aged woman. She doesn't have anyone in her life. Now you are a district collector of the particular district. She is going here and there from window to window, door to door of the public office to avail the benefit of the government schemes. Okay, but she is not able to receive it. It happens for a very long time. Now you come to know why this lady is going here and there. You ask the person who is there in the office, you call and ask, inquire. Now you said that person has said that this lady did not carry valuable documents, but she is asking to avail the benefit of the pensions. Then what will you do? Without documents, you cannot avail the benefit to the lady. So that is why we have mentioned impartiality versus empathy. I'm not asking you the answer. This is one such case as an example for impartiality versus empathy. So suppose now I am asking an answer. How will you solve this? So suppose you have come to know that this person does not have valuable document. Okay, let us assume. And this person is approaching you. You are an officer. There is rules and regulations for you. As per the rules, you cannot simply break for one person and then or bend the rules for one person and avail the benefit to them. You cannot do it. This has to be strictly followed. Otherwise, I told there are something which deceive your eyes. Future, this person may be genuine. Future, some person may again approach you, but without any genuinity. Okay, you may offer that. For one person you are bended, you cannot simply say no. We know no foot in the door in the foot phenomena, face in the door technique. We have discussed. Do you remember? So one time if you said yes, it follows. Now we cannot simply refuse the other persons also. And what will you do? Any idea you have? You are the future civil servant. No, simply I'm asking if there is no one with any document, any ID proof with them. What will you ask them? What will you do to them? Hmm. 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 Okay, fine. Fine. Actually, he has come up with some. See, this is a smart way. If you don't know anything, this is a smart way you can handle the situation. But what? There is some option. Do you know? Any one of you know that post office is there? You know, any locality, there will be a post office. If you go to a post office, they will give you an ID proof. You know that or not? If you're residing in that particular place, some house, you'll be residing. No, you are not wandering in the street or somewhere. So if you approach them, then they will give you an ID proof that this person is living or residing in this locality only. That will be acting as an ID proof, and a collector can use it. Okay. If you don't know, then what you can say that there are certain specific NGOs for this who are responsible for collecting documents. As he has said, no. So you can arrange a peon. You can say that take this lady, elderly person to particular NGOs and all. So then you make the arrangement for the document. You can guide her. Even if she's not able to do it on her own, then you can assist some person there. Please go and get it along with her. Come back. Then we will, avail the benefit of the scheme. So this way you can handle. Now, yes, next one. Excuse strategy. Have you written that excuse strategy? Excuse strategy. We already discussed this, I think. No, not in class. So what is the excuse strategy? Have we heard anywhere? So when you're reading the newspaper, sometimes also it appears in the judiciary. I have given a clue. What is that? Yes, he will not sit and deliver the judgment. He can simply say that I'm not, even though he is giving a judgment in the objectable way, people will not consider it as an objective decision. So he may simply excuse himself from that situation, and he asks to assign some other people in that place to give the judgment. Same way, you as a person, when we are making an ethical decision, it's related to only private individual. I'm not saying for a public officer. Public officer cannot use excuse strategy. Okay. Even if it is your brother, you are an officer. If he is involving in unlawful activity, you have to arrest him. Okay. You have to do with your own hands only. So here you cannot excuse yourself. But if it is that you are an individual, you're going to make an ethical decision, because from individual case study, you will also face case study from individual angle also. From business professional, then from officers as well as individual. So when as an individual, if you're facing something like this, then you can use excuse strategy. Okay. Right. So then write. Put hyphen and write. How will you compare that with the India's Ukraine war? India is abstanding from some position for that. Yeah, in the voting in UN. That's why I'm asking, abstaining from that and all. No. So this is something we cannot use for excuse strategy at all. Don't use it, because it's a national interest of us. We have a foreign policy based on our interest. Okay, it's a wise decision of India. It's doing. It's not something that it is going to harm someone, or it has to take advantage from both sides. Okay, in that situation, it will not take a stand. It will not take a stand. Okay, so that's the situation. Don't compare that with the international relation. That is totally a different politics is going on there. Yes, then excuse strategy, put a hyphen and write. So it's excusing oneself. It's excusing oneself. It's excusing oneself from, decision making. It's excusing oneself from decision making. It's excusing oneself from decision making as the stakeholders of the case, may be personally related to us. The stakeholders of the case may be personally related to us. Okay, personally related to us. So it cannot be used in all situations also. Please remember that. Very rare of rarest cases. In such situations, some situations you can use it. Even one case we also discussed here in class. Do you remember a social worker who refused to treat a person? I handled it for, I refused to treat a person because of his religious values. There you cannot use an excuse strategy. You cannot simply say I am excusing myself because my religious values is coming in conflict with my professional values. Then why are you wearing a white coat? They will ask you. And so that type of situation, a social person who is holding a professional duty cannot use this strategy at all. But in individual also, in some situations only it will be applicable, not in all situations. Okay. Doctors and judge, you cannot use this. Even civil servants, you cannot use. Judge can use, but doctors cannot use. Especially in situation like when they're treating their own personal, in that situation, not some values coming in conflict. So that person is personally related. Yes, good. Yes, then conflict of interest. Put a hyphen and write. Conflict of interest. It is a situation. It's a situation in which. It is a situation in which. It's a situation in which a person. It is a situation in which a person, such as. It is a situation in which a person such as a public official, comma, an employee. It's a situation in which a person, comma, such as public official, comma, an employee. Okay, employee or a professional. Has a employer professional has a private interest. Private has a private or personal interest. Private or personal interest. Okay, has a private or personal interest. Sufficient has a private or personal interest. Sufficient to appear to influence. Sufficient to appear to influence the objective exercise. Objective exercise of his or her official duty. Duties. Okay. Exercise the objective exercise of his or her official duty. His or her official duty. Okay. Then you write apparent conflict of interest. Two types of conflict of interest. One is apparent conflict of interest. Inside the bracket you give actual or real. In any way the name may appear in any way. Actual or real conflict of interest. One time they asked a question like this directly itself. What is meant by apparent conflict of interest and what is potential conflict of interest? In UPSC only they asked. Okay. So you write inside the bracket actual or real. Inside the bracket you give after apparent conflict of interest. Put a hyphen and write existing situations. That means existing situations. Existing situations that involves existing situations that involves other parties. Existing situations that involves other parties into conflict of interest. And it's an actual conflict of interest. And that's why it is called actual conflict of interest. Then potential conflict of interest. Potential conflict of interest. The situations under that, under the potential conflict of interest, the situations that do not necessarily constitute or appear to constitute a conflict of interest. Comma, appear to constitute a conflict of interest, comma, but where there is a reasonable possibility but where there is a reasonable possibility of an actual conflict of interest, where there is reasonable possibility of an actual conflict of interest coming into play. Actual conflict of interest coming into play. Okay. Coming into play. Right. So you have to keep one thing in mind, that some ethical conflict of interest are part of ethical dilemmas. Okay, that you have to keep in mind. Now there is a topic called laws, rules, regulations, and conscience as source of ethical guidance. Okay. Hmm. 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 How it will become rule of majority? Majority people. Okay. It means it does not, they are going to completely neglect the minority people. No, minority means that is respective community which is residing in that place. They are going to make alternative arrangement for them. They are not simply asking them run away, like, they are shooing away, not shooing away from them there, like an animal. So that you have to make sure. As an officer, you are the person who has to make sure whether the proper arrangements has been done for these people. Even then you have to analyze, whether it is better comparative to this, whether they are able to live in peace in that particular place. Now, all this has to be checked. That is a duty of you. And then you have to convince them, you have to persuade them, see, this is better than the place where you are residing. You get all these opportunities. Like this, you have to convince these people, right? And even you're going to get paid for the land where the government is going to acquire from you, and you're going to given the place also, along with the money, you are also getting extra benefit, the land to reside also. Like this way, you have to make sure that this people does not get discriminated in any way or affected in any way due to the decision the government is going to take. Okay, that is important. Now, we are not simply cheating them to asking them to get out from that place and take them, acquire the place from them. No, so that cannot happen. So always you have to put their interest also. But here, the greatest good means what? Greatest good, it is benefit for everyone. So that has to be considered. Okay, so before going into this laws, rules, regulation, this we'll put in the last part of our class. Okay, so this topic, we'll start with accountability. And ethical governance is a topic. Today we will see accountability. Okay, so what is accountability? So being responsible for action is responsibility. Accountability means answering. There is someone who is ensuring a control on you. No, so the control through which way they are going to control. There are a lot of ways, lot of tools through which the control comes into play. So this accountability, if you take, there are two types of variations in accountability. Like in the formula itself, we have written. Do you remember? Accountability equal to answerability plus enforceability. Okay. Enforceability. Why we are saying there are two ways accountability can be brought. One is answerability. That is, there is some body which is outside or which is within, like we'll be seeing the control mechanisms of various bodies. They are trying to question you for the actions, for the act of commission. Okay, committing an act. You are involving, you are making a decision. And whether your decision is in a justifiable manner or it is going to affect the interest of the people, there will be some body which will ensure their control mechanisms on you, and they will question you. Why you have committed this act? Why you have taken this decision? These types of thing is coming under answerability. And enforceability means it is mainly for act of omission, where through some sanctions, okay, through some tools, we are trying to enforce the duty of the public officials. That it is your duty. Why are you inactive? Why are you not performing your action? Why are you not taking any action? That way we are going to question or impose sanction on the public official and make them work. That is enforceability. So that is two variations of accountability. Both the variations has various tools. especially if you take enforceability. Here comes the major part is played by judiciary and the executives and the permanent executives. Okay, the superiors is going to question the subordinates for their lapses, for their inactions. This is something called as accountability. Right. Now, how or what are the ways accountability can be ensured? So first of all, why we need accountability? The question is like this: why you need accountability? Sometimes they may ask, no, what are the benefits of having accountability? So why we have to have accountability? Why is there should be something as accountability? Although it's a part of good governance. Now, through accountability, we are trying to bring in good governance. Smart way you can answer this like this. But what is the need of accountability? Accountability is sometimes informally called as the right to receive information. Right to receive information. Why? Can you connect this right to receive information with accountability? Anyone? The information, no? Yes, okay, we know that. Without information, we cannot question them. We don't have any information. We don't know what is happening inside the government. We cannot also ensure accountability. We cannot utilize this tool. So why we have to receive information? What is the use? Huh? So that is why, see, you all know that accountability, the civil servant holds towards public also. Not only public is receiving the information, even the bodies also retrieving the information from the civil servant. We also saw yesterday, these people are special expertise and they are not able to part with the information. Not only the public, everyone who is going to question him or going to put a check and balance towards this body will ask, retrieve the information from them. Then only they can ask question. Okay, so this information, why we are saying it's an informal tool of accountability. Without information, okay, we cannot question the people. So if we have information only, we will be able to analyze what is happening inside the government, what is happening with respect to this body, and then we will be able to keep check and balance the power. So main use or benefit of accountability is to check the power, the power or authority which a person holds, whether he is utilizing in the right way or not. So in order to put an end to autocratic power, so we are trying to bring the accountability mechanisms. Right. So what are those ways we are going to check the accountability or bring in accountability? That only we will see now. Like, see, the bureaucratic accountability, mentioned like this, bureaucratic accountability. Okay. So what are the ways we can ensure the accountability mechanisms? So through control only, we are trying to ensure accountability through control mechanisms. There are two types of control. Okay, one is external control and another one is internal control. In this external control is brought by 3 different bodies. You can also use 4. Yes, anyone? Legislatures, executives, judiciary, people. As you said, people, that is important. Then here in the internal control means within the department, within the civil service, okay, within the administration, within bureaucracy. What are those control mechanisms we have? That we'll discuss at last. So first we'll see the legislatures. How legislatures are able to impose their control on the administrators. Administrators are also, the bureaucrats are also called as permanent executive. Okay, so they are called permanent executives. Yes. So what are the ways the legislatures, have you done this? Is it visible there also? Visible, no? Yes. So have you done? Completed? I think he's using some colors also. Huh? You're using color pens, taking a lot of time. Yes, so we'll start. What is legislatures? How legislatures can impose a control? Making laws. One thing. How you are saying making laws can, control the actions of administrators? How? First thing you have to know is that legislatures don't have direct control over administrators. They will never do. They cannot go and ask. The members of parliament will never question an administrator. They will only question the executives, the political executives. These are called permanent executives. Permanent executives work for political executives. The political executives, no, polity over or not. Here we are not going to discuss every terms of polity, but I will just give the term. Then in polity class, you will be studying about it elaborately. No. So who are called council of ministers? Who are called the member of parliament? Is there a difference or all are one? Difference is there, no? So we have a popular statement also that also appear in UPSC exam, like the COM is collectively responsible to whom? Lok Sabha. Who told that? That is the right answer. That is what they expected from you. This was an option. 3 options they gave in one question, and one was like this. Everybody was thinking that no, they're collectively responsible to legislatures or members of parliament. That became a big zero in that question. So like that, you have to be very careful. Okay, very specific questions will be there in UPSC. That is why I told same one thing you have to read again and again, but you have to make sure that you are very much known about that particular topic. That way only question will be taken in the UPSC exam. So legislatures, how they are going to exercise the control. So indirect control only can be done. Here there are 3 types of control. One is general control. Now we'll see the general control. First one, law making. How law making can impose a control on the administrators. How? The legislatures are responsible for making the law. Okay. So now this law, I already told that the law is passed in a skeleton format. Okay. So who is responsible for making the rules and regulations within a law? The executives. Which executives? Not the bureaucrat. The political executives are responsible. We said that political executives are not with much knowledge. Okay, you would have seen them. So who is responsible for helping them in making that rules or regulations inside that skeleton form of law? Only a framework has been created in the legislatures. Who will be again responsible for this? Yes, they are working. No, so they are the one who gives the inputs. We already told you. Do you remember that? No, here they are the one who interact with the field people, the base, and they collect the information. They provide to the legislatures while making laws. It is used here for making bylaws or regulations. So the permanent executives are the one who just help the political executives in making it. And when the political executive, it cannot directly pass as a law. Do you know that? After even making up the rules and regulation, it has to be submitted in the parliament for approval. The parliament has to approve this. And then, yes, through this, they are accessing the control over the political executives and indirectly over the permanent executives. Okay. So this is one way they are trying to control the actions of the permanent executives. Why you have chosen these rules or bylaws, why this has been brought. This way the questions can appear before them. So through this way, their decisions is questioned. Right. So this is lawmaking, number one. Second, there is something called a mechanism of question hour. Do you know that? What is it? Is it an Indian innovation or it's already there in the rule book?
It's there in rule book.
It's there in the rule book. It's not. Yes. So this is question hour. Question hour, you know that the mechanisms and all start, unstart, short notice question like this. You will try to how this question hour is trying to get hold of the administrative activities. you would have seen in the parliament, when a minister is attending the session, there will be a permanent executive who will take notes behind him. He will sit there, he will listen to everything. This person doesn't know the data, facts. That's why I told that information is generated by the administrators only. They are the one and only person who is responsible for holding the facts and figures of the particular district. And this is passed on to the minister, to the state. All the collective information will be there in the hand. And who is responsible for holding this information? Permanent executives. And when a question is asked, who is responsible for framing an answer? Permanent executives. It means minister is like a toy who is sitting there and answering, as acting as a mouth of an administrator, because an administrator cannot come forward. He is not elected by the people. Who is elected by the people? The political executives are the one who are acting as representative of people. So they are responsible for answering the questions in the parliament. And behind him has to be the administrator who is intelligent and knowledgeable person and who is responsible for collecting those information, facts and figures. And when the member of parliament raises a question towards him, they are responsible for providing the answer to the minister. And if he is not providing, he will become embarrassed before people. And after that, he will get hold of the administrator. What are you doing in your district? I faced embarrassing situation because of you. I was not able to answer. He's asking a question. What are you doing? This type of questions will come. That's why you'd have seen that these people will be, sitting on heels, used to say. So they are very nervous. What type of question is going to come? Now the minister is a fool. He'll come back and he will scold me. So question hour. Like start has to be done in oral way and start in a written way. Oral question will have supplementary questions like this, all you know. Third one we can say the 0 hour. What is this? It's an Indian innovation. So after the question hour, 0 hour will be there. Any questions related to public importance will be raised in the parliament by the member of parliament towards the executives. Again, the executives with the help of the permanent executive will answer this question through this way. Control mechanisms is implied on both political executives as well as the permanent executives to make them work for the benefit of people. Okay. Then like this, we have a lot of tools. Even motion of thanks, we used to say. It is going for voting. And motions. What are the other motions which are available? Motions. Example. Censor motion is there. No confidence motion is there. Like this, we have a lot of motions and resolutions will be passed in the parliament. For everything, the ministers who are held responsible collectively, for their actions. Who is responsible behind them? The executives will be responsible behind them. So this way, there is an indirect control implied by the legislatures to question the executive's activity through the political executive. Okay. Second, this is all these lawmaking, question number 0, are all this are under general control. Then second comes the budgetary control, or we can say the financial control. Financial control. So how financial control will be enforced by the legislatures on the executives, both executives? What type of financial control? By rejecting money. You're saying about grants, budget. How budget is done? Six? State process. Okay. So you would have learned that in the polity, there is some bill. No, budget cannot be simply, you would have seen that ministers carrying a suitcase. And many people used to think he is carrying money. Now, budget is passed. That's it. Budget is a bill. They comes out in the money bills, finance bills. We have no appropriation bill. We call this as appropriation bill. And the appropriation bill has to be passed out in the parliament. But what happens? Since executives are more powerful, they used to drag this budget as something and then they put the budget in the bulletin. Because we know these executives are the one who are more powerful than the legislatures. So they are dominating over the legislature. So budget, but actually budget was brought in order to get hold of the activities of the executives. So while passing the appropriation bill, here again, the control mechanism is imposed on the executives, both executives. Okay, both. Because who is preparing the budget again? Who is preparing? The ministers are responsible for preparing the budget with the help of executives, permanent executives. Now, when passing out all those provisions inside the bill, the legislature start discussing about this. Why this is brought? Why you are asking, to cut down the money? for this particular, or cut down the grants for this particular program. Why is it so? Why you're asking for more money for this program? Already there is no result. You're saying Ganga cleaning, 350 crore you have invested. How Ganga is cleaned? Again asking for another 300 crore. So like this, you are increasing your Gazana. Government Gazana is going on down. Your own private houses keep on increasing. So this way, like you can say that the control mechanisms exercised through budget. Okay. Then second, audit. Another way the parliament will get hold of the activities of the executives. Okay. Is through auditing mechanism. So who is responsible for doing audit? CAG is the body which will involve after the action has been committed, after an action has been done. Now he will go to various departments. He will analyze the reports. He will check whether everything has been as per the one which is reflected in the balance sheet, or whether they are trying to misappropriate the fund, or why this fund is lying underutilized. These types of things will be analyzed by CAG and will be submitted as report to the parliament. Now parliament will question, what are you doing? Why you are asking so much funds? Funds are simply laying down there, or embezzlement of fund has happened. The fund has not reached the targeted group at all. But where did the fund goes? Like this, the question comes. So these are some of the mechanisms through which accountability is ensured. And again, detailed control. Who is responsible for doing detailed control? Parliament cannot do it. Parliament doesn't have sufficient time. That's why budget even is passed through guillotine. Very good. Committees. We call them standing committees. No, we have committees. Especially there are three committees which are very important. What are that? PAC, EC, and another one? CPU. These are very important three committees. Other than that, we have a lot of parliamentary standing committees. What is PAC? Public Accounts Committee, EC Estimates Committee, CPU Committee, and Public Undertakings. The main function of them is to analyze the audit report submitted by CAG respective to each and everything. So they will check the public sector undertakings whether they are functioning properly. So they will detailedly analyze all the report. One by one they will sit, they will check. So that they are responsible for that. Okay, again committees. Who are the members of the committee? Who will be from outside? Anyone will come as a member of committee? No, from Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, they will allocate the members and they will ask them to check. You know how they function. Okay. So this way they are trying to exercise the control over the executives indirectly through the political executive. Okay. Then executive control. How executive control can happen? Executives means the masters who are going to guide you. So that is the answer. First thing, guidance. Okay, they are the one who are responsible for making the rules, bylaws, and regulations. You give the input, they make that. You cannot make it for them. You will only give input for them. They are the one who is going to make the regulations, rules, and bylaws, and they are the one who are going to guide you. Okay, this is the way they are going to form the structure of the department itself, the organization itself. The department is headed by them. Structure or organization of the department will be decided by these people, and these are the people who give guidance to you, direct policy, directing. No, for when implementation of the policy, they will supervise you, they will coordinate your activities, they will guide you, they will direct you that this is the way you have to implement the schemes. Okay, apart from that, so through guidance and supervision, structure, deciding the structure of organization and supervising the activities of the permanent executives, they will directly control the activities of the permanent executives. Second, you can also say granting funds. Granting funds for the program. So you are asking funds for respective programs, and they are the one who has to approve it. Now, if they say that we don't want to run this program, you have to drop it. Reform or restructure some other program. Bring a new program to me. I have assign money for that. Why you are now? Have you seen in the paper? MGNREGA. What happened? Around some 26 states or something, they are not receiving funds from the government. So, but the program is there. Fund is not there. Who is responsible for allotting the fund? Again, after budget is passed, now the money, public money is in the hands of executives. So executives has to allot that to the respective states, but it's not yet happening. This is the reason that granting funds for the programs. So this way they can exercise the control over the executives, get hold of them. Third, internal audit. Internal audit. Inside the department itself, there will be audit mechanisms apart from CAG. Oh, no. So who will exercise control over them? Executives. Political executives will have control over them. They will ask to audit the reports of the collectors, how they have generated the reports in the particular department, what output has come. This way they will check whether everything is going or in line or not. Are they deviating from it? Are they not utilizing the fund for the proper reasons? This way it will be checked. So internal audit. Fourth, Ministry of Personnel, or you can mention personnel management there. Here, personnel management. How for the bureaucrats, personnel management is very important for them. Promotions, all this is held here. Personal appointments. Who is responsible for appointing a civil servant? Executive. Again, who is held by an executive? Again comes a ministry. Ministry of Finance, UPSC, all these people guide the president to appoint a civil servant. After that, until he retire, everything will be handled by this particular personnel. Ministry of Personnel is there? No, Ministry of Personnel Management. It's a department. Sorry, what are the departments under Ministry of Personnel and Grievance Redressal? I think that is the ministry. No, that's the name of the ministry or not? Why are you blinking like this? There is one such ministry like that. You know that or not? Okay, good. Ministry of Personnel Management and Grievance Redressal or something. The entire name comes like that. So this person, particularly this ministry, is responsible for transfers. When suppose a person has to be transferred and all, here they will easily communicate. The minister will communicate to a minister and the transfer will be done. So like this, the disciplinary actions will be taken. So now the executives are holding the control of the administrators. Okay, so personnel management. Like this, judiciary. Come to judiciary. How judiciary is responsible? How judiciary is accessing the control over the executives? There are a lot of ways. One, judicial review. What is judicial review? Judiciary has that authority to check that any law passed by the legislatures and administrative laws also. Only you will be studying like legislative laws in your polity, but it's also include an administrative law. The delegated legislation. What is meant by delegated legislation? These are the words you will be learning in your polity. I don't know how many of you attended. Delegated legislation is a word which you come across. So it's otherwise called as executive made laws. We said no. Parliament in some cases they may only make this, frame the outline of a law. A skeletal form, the law will be passed. Who will be responsible for making all those bylaws? Everything will be done by an executive, delegated legislation. Okay, same way, the judicial review can extend it to both the administrative made laws as well as executive laws as well as the legislative laws. What they will do under judicial review? Review means what? You are evaluating? No. So you are just going to evaluate whether this law is going to abrogate the values held by the Constitution. If it comes into conflict, then what the judiciary will do? It can declare it null and void. That is why there is a power it has, judicial review. So same way they are checking the actions of an administrator. Okay, so if administrative acts comes into conflict with constitutional laws also, they can declare it as null and void. Okay, second, appeals. What is appeal? A public can approach a court if an administrative action is against law, unlawful. A public can approach a court and make an appeal that this person has misused his authority or abused his authority. Okay, we call this as misfeasance. There's a word called misfeasance. What is that? Misusing or abusing your power. That is called misfeasance. In case of the son and father, Satan Kulam case I told. Do you remember that? The son and the father was killed in the custody. Custodial death happened. So it's the misfeasance only, abusing your authority, misusing your authority, misfeasance. Overfeasance is another term we can use. Overfeasance means what? Exceeding your limit, where you have to be there, you are exceeding your limit and acting on some people. No, it does not come under your authority at all. As I said, a police officer entering, IAS officer entering into a police station, taking lathi and beating a public. It's not your authority at all. Overfeasance. Okay. So like this, even malfeasance. Malfeasance means you yourself doesn't know what the law is coming to say. Misinterpreting law and unnecessarily troubling the public to follow the guidelines given by you. So that in that case, if the public is more knowledgeable than you, he may go to the court. He may ask, this person is acting like a fool. The law is suggesting something. He is asking us to do in this manner. Then again, you will be questioned for your actions. So malfeasance. So appeals. Through appeals, they can approach the public, general public, the aggrieved citizen can go and approach the court to get solution for the problems caused by the administrative acts. Okay. Then again comes suits. What are they? As central government and the state government can be sued. I already told, like in case of legal personhood, everyone is a legal person. No, starting from an individual to river, now we are announcing as legal person. Then what? You can call in the court and you can be sued for your actions. In that way, in polity, you will be studying about the criminal and civil proceedings against the executives. You'll be studying, no, these people, the president and governor is exempted from criminal proceedings when they are in official contract. But civil proceedings can be with 2 months notice. Now you have to give 2 months only, no, 2 months notice, you have to initiate this. You can initiate the civil proceedings with respect to the topmost executives, the president and the governor. But in case of ministers, they do have immunity or not? They don't have immunity. Yes, they don't have immunity for other acts. For their personal acts, they can be sued. Same way, an executive, a permanent executive also, like a minister, does not have immunity. Okay, so all the civil proceedings and criminal proceedings can be initiated against these types of people when they are in work. Because there is no retirement at all. You will retire, at your retirement age. Till that they cannot wait. No, we'll wait. Right? So like that, suits. Then fourth one, you can say about writs. There is something called writs. What are the writs available for, what are the writs you have studied? A habeas corpus, mandamus, certiorari, quo warranto, prohibition. Another one is there. Any of you? Only 5 you have learned, no? You have learned 5. Yes, another one is there. What is that? Go and refer. That's something called as injunction. Okay, this is also a writ only. Mandamus and injunction are more or less similar, but mandamus can be done or can be called against a public officer. But injunction can be also initiated against a private individual. Okay, injunction, right? Now see, the writs, in this writs, all writs will not be applicable for this. Habeas corpus, mandamus, and quo warranto. These 3. What is habeas corpus? Bring the body of an officer, an administrator. They have to produce before the magistrate. And next one, mandamus. We command that you have to perform your duty. You are not acting on your duty. You are not performing on your duty. You are not performing your duty, so you do it. So mandamus. And quo warranto, on what authority you are holding this office? You can question a public officer, no. How you come to this office? Especially this is the thing, through this they initiated the crime which happened in the state recruitment board, no. So many people has given bribes and entered the state board. Do you know that or not? In some states, 3-4 states, they withhold the postings of these people. Yes. How they came inside? They manipulated the result. Okay, with the help of the influence, political influence. They paid a huge lump sum of money to this political person and they manipulated the result and entered the state service. Then quo warranto was initiated against them. What authority you are holding? Because the person was written and nicely did not get into the service. Then he started asking, how come? Because I have given an answer, a proper answer. I have done everything nicely. In the interview, I do not get selected. What is the reason I am not selected? So he started initiating the process. Then the court also initiated that thing, and they asked on what authority or what way you are holding this position. Now the government has to answer no. What authority they have appointed this person for that position and all. Okay, so these are some of the ways that you can question the administrative acts, right? Now take the 11 o'clock. Okay, it is late. It is running, but it's late. So take 10 minutes break, then we'll take some definition for this. Then we'll move to the next topic.
Excuse me, ma'am. Hello.
Please.
Ma'am, I have one case study question I need to ask you.
Yeah, sure. So your name, please.
Doman Paswan.
Okay. Yes, see, actually, before before answering your question, I want to tell one more thing. Still now, I have not received the name from that person. One who has written and forwarded me an answer for test paper 1. And I don't know who is that. I think whether he may be absent because of the harsh weather. He may not be here in the class or may not be in online. But your answer is with me. So please, give your name. Then only I can correct it also. Yes. What is your question?
Ma'am, and this is about civil servant question. Ma'am, suppose ma'am, you are IPS officer and you are posted in a backward district, which is an Naxalite area.
Okay.
And you have come to know that the Naxalite group have captured one of the village to fulfill their demand. But the condition is very critical because Naxalites were killing the village innocent one by one to fulfill their demand.
So they are continuing this habit, no? They are taking someone into custody and making some demands. Okay.
Yeah, but as an IPS officer, you don't have any connectivity toward government or higher superior officer.
Towards government, why no connectivity without towards?
Like because it is backward area, you don't have any connectivity to talk with your superior or government. Okay. But you have to do a sudden action against Naxalite to save.
Okay, let us consider people. Like that you are not able to reach this superiors. Okay.
Okay.
So then you have to take an action.
So my question is, how can you handle this type of situation so that there should be no casualty of innocent people? So, and also there should not conflict between state and central relationship.
See, actually, first thing is that these types of questions will not be asked. This type of critical questions will not be asked to you. Second, you are responsible as an officer. You are the one and only person who is responsible for the law and order situation, peace and stability of the area. So what you have to do is you have to take action, severe action, stringent action against these Naxals who are acting against the government, okay, who are stalling the developmental process of the government, who are stalling the improvement of the livelihoods of the people of the particular places. So the first thing is that you have to act at this time, and then you have to go for a backward development area program. There is something called backward development area program, which is there for each and every state which is affected by this Naxals. Okay, that has to be implemented properly by you. At this moment, when there's someone is taken as a hostage, you should try to rescue that person. Okay, and you should not oblige by the unlawful demands made by the Naxals at the same time. Okay, so this is how you have to take action. You have to bring more forces. You can seek the help. Especially, I already told, inside the state only, there are two types of polices. You can take the help of them. You can take the help of home guards. And when it is a Naxal area, there are some paramilitary forces also stalled there. You can take the help of them. in order rescuing this person, and you are also securing the safety of the other village people who are residing there. That in future this should not happen. That tightening the forces. Okay, so this way you are going to handle the situation, right? And these types of questions will not be asked. Please keep that in mind. You see the old question paper, don't deviate from the pattern. Just take the old question paper, read the question paper, you will come to understand how the case studies are also asked. Right? So very complicated questions like this, or politically related questions will not be asked in the UPSC. They will not ask like this. Okay. Our community related questions also will not come. No. And something which is going to initiate some offense inside the mind of people will not be asked by the UPSC. Take care of that. And on the other hand, when they are making a question, they will always make sure in the gray areas like challenges, any topics you take, there will be some challenges related to that topic. That will be always attracted by the UPSC. So questions will come from them there only. Any topic, challenges or hurdles. That way you have to prepare. Okay. Mic is on. People's participation. So people's participating in the government activities. People participating in questioning the administrative activities, like the RTA, seeking the information. So RTA is a mechanism not only ensuring transparency, but also the accountability. So this is how question already appeared in UPSC also. RTA is not there only to ensure transparency, but also to bring in accountability. Right? Then grievance redressal. So there are a lot of ways through which the grievances of the public can be, yes, addressed. So there is some site also. You can go and check that. CP Grams, it's a site. And in that, all the departments are connected. Any issues which is related to any department, any government department, you can raise the question there, and that questions will be solved for you. Your problem will be rectified. Okay, so this is one way which the public will start participating, and then they are seeing that there is some lacuna, there is some loopholes in giving. Even in PDS system, you find some fault, then you can raise a question. So that question will be solved, the problem will be solved for you, grievance redressal. And also there is some mechanisms like the bill placed for public suggestions. Any one of you have participated in this? Huh? Now they are keeping Jan Vishwas bill. I asked you to make a note of that also, no? So what they will do, they will post the bill, with some suggestions. They will draft some suggestions and then they will post it for the people's suggestions. You have to review it. You have to see, you have to check, whether something can be added, then you can suggest the government. So suggestions will be taken into consideration. The majority suggestion will be considered. This is one way that people is participating. And through this, accountability will be ensured. So social audit, this is a separate topic which we'll be seeing. What is social audit? Where the people, the public, the common man can go and question a public administrative officer for the implementation of policies or schemes. The data regarding it, the usage of fund related to it, everything will be questioned in the name of social auditing. Okay, previously it was introduced by the private sector only. Then through the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, it was made legal inside the Constitution itself. Inside, under the Constitution, we have 73rd, 74th Amendment. What is that? Local bodies, no. Panchayat Raj institutions, yes. Pressure groups. You will study in polity. There is a separate topic for you as pressure group. Here, again, how the pressures are, creating an influence on the administrative decisions. How they do this? With the help of some bodies, with the help of some NGOs, unions, student unions, so associations, all this will come together and they will try to take the interest of the people to the government, to the policy makers and to the policy implementers also. Okay, when they're trying to implement a policy, then they will speak as one voice. These unions and association, even students also have student union, an organization has an employee union. Like this, these people's, the common man's interest will be considered, or they will question on behalf of the common man, they will question the activities of the government or activities of the administrators. Some public opinion is an informal device. The opinion generated by the public, how? In the medias, so before polling only they do this. Generally, they will never do this. There is no program for that. They do not go and ask the people that whether you're satisfied with the government, whether the scheme is, doing what for it is meant to be. These types of questions they never ask. And if it is done, that's something they are generating awareness in the name of opinions given by people. So this will create an impact on the administrative acts as well as the policymakers. So this way they will be held accountable. They will be answerable. No, if people, some opinion is generated and this circulates, then they have to answer for the people, right? So this way accountability can be ensured, right? Then what are the internal control? How a department will control. Already we have discussed in classes a lot of things like that. Disciplinary actions, then annual confidential report. Okay, so this is internal control. How internal control can happen? Annual confidential reports. Okay, then so next, actions. Third, span of control. Hierarchical structures, inquiries. Okay. Right. So like this, these are some of the ways through which, see, the span of control and hierarchical structure is something where the superiors will always direct the subordinates and coordinate them in their activities. Okay, through this way they are trying to guide them, and control them, control the subordinates. Okay, hierarchy structures. Administrative is completely an ideal type of bureaucracy we have. The superiors will control the subordinates. Then departmental sanctions or disciplinary actions where you will be promoted or you will be demoted. You will be suspended, terminated, waiting list. Like this, we have lot of options to punish a dishonest civil servant. Then annual confidential report, ACR. You yourself doesn't know what is there in the report. This will be submitted to the staff agencies. The staff agencies, on the other hand, they also will have a group, what we can say, informal group, where they will act as eyes and ears for the staff agencies. Who are the staff agencies? PMO's office, cabinet secretariat, all these are acting as a staff agency. They will collect information about you. Okay, then they will give this information to the PMO office. From there, again, this information will be passed down to your department, and the allocation of particular, your promotions, allocation of the duty of to certain areas, all this comes based on this only. And apart from that, the department will submit a report, annual confidential report about you, your performance, what you're doing. how you're performing in your district. All this will be submitted there. This will also control the activities of the administrator. Then inquiries. Suppose if you are involving in some unlawful act, then there will be an inquiry committee will be formed against you. They will start questioning about your activity, why you have committed this act, why you have done this way, why there is lapses in policy implementation, why there is no proper utilization of fund which is allotted for this project. These types of, for that also they will set up an inquiry committee. And then performance survey there, which takes, I don't know whether it is properly functioning in India or not, but it is there. There is such option. Here we are not considering performance of an officer at all. That is the main problem. No, when you're trying to promote an officer, we are only seeing the seniority. No, based on age only are promoting that person, not based on his performance. But we do have performance survey, which way this person is performing, whether he is giving his 100% effort in trying to implement the laws and schemes and are acting in public interest or his own interest. This way they will collect the information, right? So these are some of the ways through which the control mechanisms can be implied on the administrators. Okay, now you take the definition for this topic. You need not write as topic by topic. I'll give us 3 or 4 paragraphs and then I'll forward some notes for you for detailed reference. Here in the classes, you just take a precise note. So first you write accountability. Start as accountability. Accountability means what? So write accountability. Is in simple way, we can say accountability, simple way to define. And in simple way, we can say accountability is answerability for one's action. Answerability for one's action or behavior. Answerability for one's action or behavior. Answerability for one's action or behavior. Put a full stop, then continue. Public service accountability. Public service accountability involves public service accountability involves the methodology through public service accountability involves the methodology through which a public agency or a public official fulfills assigned duty and obligations. Fulfills assigned duty and obligations. Okay, fulfills assigned duty and obligations. Then the notion of accountability, next paragraph you write, the notion of accountability carries 2 major connotations. CONNOTATIONS. What I have said, please repeat for him. Have you written? Connotations. Consists of 2 major connotations. Then you write a formula. Accountability is equal to. Okay, accountability is equal to answerability plus enforceability. Put a box around that formula. Accountability is equal to answerability plus enforceability. Answerability plus enforceability. Okay. Then you write below that formula answerability, which stands for the obligation of that is duty, the duty of public officials, to inform about what you have written? Obligation of the public officials to inform and explain why they have explain to the concerned authority. You mentioned like that. Inform and explain to the concerned authority to concerned authority as why they have concerned authority as why they have committed such act. Why they have committed such act. Why they have committed such act. Okay, and second, and answerability and enforceability. No, enforceability. Enforceability means where enforceability means where the concerned authority imposes certain sanctions, where the concerned authority imposes certain sanctions, SANCTIONS, sanctions. Okay, on the power holders, imposes certain sanctions on the power holders who have violated their duties, who have violated their public duties, mention like that, public duties, who have violated their public duties. Okay, so next paragraph you write. Accountability can be ensured in three ways. Accountability can be ensured in three ways. Okay. So put a triangle as a picture you draw. Put one triangle in one quadrant, like in one angle, you just write number one. So three ways you can control the power. Okay. Subjecting power to the threat of sanction. First, through fear, we are trying to make them submit. So subjecting power to the threat of sanctions. That is one form of accountability. Subjecting power to the threat of sanction. One form. Second, obliging. Okay, obliging. OBLIGANG. Obliging. Are you right? Simply write like this. Be transparent. No, ensure, be transparent. Ensure, be transparent in official dealings. Ensure to be transparent in official dealings. Ensure to be transparent in official dealings. Okay, so what we are coming to say? Transparency. Through transparency, we can bring accountability. Okay, so now these people are fearful that everything is known to the public, so they will not commit unlawful activity. Ensure to be transparent. What I have said? In performing the duty, official duty. Third, forcing to justify the act. Forcing to justify the act. Okay, so these are the three ways through which accountability can be ensured. Forcing to justify the act. Done? Now you draw. I think we need not give the tabular column. I'll forward in the notes for you. Now you start writing the ways through which the accountability can be ensured. Okay, so there are two types of, now again, next paragraph. There are two types of accountability. Which can be, the two types of accountability which can be enforced on, a public servant. Mention as permanent, inside the bracket, mention as permanent executives. Okay, public servant, permanent executives. They are number one, external control. External control. Put a hyphen and write how external control can be brought. Legislature, executive, judiciary and people. Legislature, executives, judiciary and people. and people. Okay. Second, internal control. Put a hyphen and write within the department. Internal control within the department. He is running very cute, na? Are you there in you're an athlete? We are asking you because the body language and all seems so. You're an athlete or something? Oh, so what is that? Huh? Martial arts. Okay, master of, huh? Mixed martial arts. It's not master of martial arts. M. So what you will study there? The first time I am hearing this. All types of martial arts. So he's a master then. Huh. Okay. So very interesting, no? This anybody hearing for first time or you know it already? First time. So you are inspiration for many. Then now, continue. So where we left? Through within the department. Okay, then start the paragraph. The external control, which can be external control, which can be brought by a legislature. Legislature uses mechanisms like the general control. Okay, the general control. Inside the bracket you write. Inside the bracket you write. The law making, through the law making, comma. Through law making, comma. Then question our parliamentary tools. We call this as parliamentary tools generally. Yeah? So question our, comma, motions, comma, resolutions, okay, etc. So some of the tools which are used in the parliament to question the legislature. So general control, where WHERE, comma, and then write where the members of parliament, questions the activities of the political executives, questions the activities of political executives and political executives directly and the permanent executives indirectly. Okay, indirectly. Done. Then put a semicolon. This is general control. Semicolon. Next, financial control. Inside the bracket, right? Where tools like budget. Comma, auditing by CAG. Mention like that. Auditing by CAG. CAG. Okay. Put a comma, then close the bracket, put the comma and write. So where the parliamentarians, questions the permanent executives, questions the permanent executive through enforcing control mechanisms, on the political executive, executive. On the political executive. Then put a colon. Put a colon. Then write detailed control. Detailed control. So inside the bracket you write control using standing committees, parliamentary standing committees. Okay. Controls using parliamentary standing committee. Here all the committees, important committees and all, you know the name. Already we have discussed here. Same you will study in polity. Okay. So through this, then close the bracket and write, comma, put a command, write. Where the parliament with the help of standing committees, keeps check of the activities done by the executives. Activities done by the executives. Inside the bracket you write political as well as permanent executive. Political as well as permanent executives. No? So political as well as permanent executives. So what we have done so far, only the the legislative control we have written, no? So then next paragraph, executive control. Where under the executive control, next paragraph, under the executive control, the political executives, under the executive control, the political executives uses various ways and means like policy direction and guidance, comma, supervision and control, direction and guidance, comma, supervision and control, comma, internal audit system or mechanism. You can use anything, internal audit mechanism or system, comma, personnel management, comma, approval of policies and programs, comma, civil service code. I have not discussed there when I'm discussing, but you know that no, civil service code is already formed by these executives only. Executives has passed this act. They have formed the code which has to be followed by a civil servant. Okay, civil service code, etc. Like this, they use some tools. Okay, so read that line for me. In the bracket, you need not read. How we have started, read that for us. Like all this, etc. To exercise there, to directly exercise, right like that. To directly exercise the control over. To directly exercise their control over the actions. Control over the actions committed and omitted. This is control over the actions committed and omitted by a public servant. Okay. Then next paragraph. No, I don't know how many paragraphs you have written. So next paragraph. So we have done the executive control. No, next what is judiciary control? Under judiciary control, under judiciary control, the judiciary exercise control over the administrative acts. The judiciary exercise control over the administrative actions. Exercise a control over the administrative actions as follows. As follows. As follows. As follows. Put a colon and then you write A, B, C, D like this are 1, 2, 3. Give the number, first one in that. First, judicial review. Another first judicial review. So give some definition for that. Judicial review. Put a hyphen and write. Here the courts examine the. Here the courts examine the. Here the courts examine the legality and constitutionality. Examine the legality and constitutionality of. Here the courts examine the legality and constitutionality of administrative acts. Constitutionality of administrative acts, and if these acts are found to be violative of the Constitution. No, there is one specific term for that now. What is the term? If it is found to be ultra vires, put inside the bracket that ultra vires. ULTRAVIRES, ultra vires. They can be declared. They can be declared as illegal. They can be declared as illegal, unconstitutional. They can be declared as illegal, unconstitutional, or they can be declared as illegal or unconstitutional or invalid by the court. Invalid by the court. Okay. Second, statutory appeal. Statutory appeals. STATUTORY. Statutory appeals. APPEALS. Statutory appeals. Have you written? Put a hyphen and write. Statutory appeals. So here the parliamentary statutes. Don't write parliament. The parliamentary statutes. Okay. Parliamentary statutes may itself provide that. The parliamentary statutes may itself provide that in a specific type of administrative act, itself provide that in a specific type of administrative act, the aggrieved citizen, okay, the aggrieved citizen will have the right to, the aggrieved citizen will have the right to appeal to courts. Okay, have the right to appeal to courts. The aggrieved citizen have the right to appeal to courts. Third, suits, SUITS, suits. Third, suits. The public official, here what, whom we are mentioning? Public official, civil servant, public office, anyway you are, it's about a civil servant we are mentioning. Okay, the public official can be sued, SUED, can be sued for his civil or criminal acts. For the civil or criminal acts committed civil or criminal acts committed in his personal as well as official duty while holding office or in your personal life also. So what are the offense you have done? You will be charged for it. You will be sued for it. Okay, right. Then next one, writs, right? Writs. Right, writs. Put a hyphen and write. The writs like habeas corpus. Habeas corpus. Should I say the spelling or you will write? Habeas. Habeas corpus. Habeas corpus. Inside the bracket you write. Bring the body of. Habeas corpus means what? To have, the original meaning is to have the body of. Inside the bracket in double quotation you write to have the body of. Okay. And comma. Mandamus. 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 And inside bracket you write we command. Mandamus means what? We command. And third, comma, Q Varanto, QUOWARRANTO, Q Varanto. And inside the bracket you write by what authority? By what authority or warrant? By what authority or warrant? WARRANT. By what authority or warrant? Okay, so through these, how you have started this? Writs like habeas corpus, mandamus, quo warranto can be used against a public official. To question the act committed by him or her. To question the act committed by him or her. or as against his inaction in duty. Or against his inaction in duty. Committed by him or her, and what I told? And also to question the inaction or something. What? And against his inaction, and against his or her inaction in the duty. Okay, in the duty. Done. Full stop. Right. Then what has left over? Q Ananta we have done. Till judiciary we have done. People is there, no pending. The last one. The citizens. As we are speaking about good governance. Start like this. As we are speaking about good governance. The people's participation in governance. People's participation in governance does not mean only the passive participation. Okay, passive participation, PASSIVE, but also an active participation. Active participation like questioning the authorities. Questioning the authorities for their acts of commission and omission. Questioning the authority for their acts of commission and omission. Questioning the public authority, you mentioned like the public authorities for the acts of commission and omission in their official duty. The official duties. Okay. The official duties. For this, they can use various tools like, yes, what are those? We have discussed in classes. Tools like RTA. Now you write public participation, people's participation. Inside that you write RTA. RTA, comma, RTA, people's participation. We have splitted that into 3. No, it is not here again. The previous slide we have done, I think. Like this you give. People's directly participating, no, through RTA. RTA. Here they are the representatives of the people will act on the behalf of people. So group the people will act. Here even individual can act and participate. RTA, comma, grievance redressal, comma, social audit mechanisms. RTA, grievance redressal, comma, social audit mechanisms inside the bracket. Mechanisms inside the bracket. Then pressure groups and public opinion. Pressure groups and public opinion. Okay, pressure groups and public opinion. So these are the ways. And you can also mention about election. Election is a way where people are representing, selecting their representatives. No, that way also they're trying to question the previous acts committed by the previous government. No, sometimes they're not get elected. So this way the people are trying to constrain the activities of the executives. So, political? No. Political executive. Again, indirectly also some way they can control the Permanent Executives Act also. But here the aid and advice, no. Only aid and advice. Directly just presented to the political executive. So, what they will do?
They can oppose whom they have elected.
Yes. Submitting the what you say that you call some word for that. I forget the word. Memo or something like, no, not memo. Yes, for representation only. Then you will submit something to the politician. No, what is the name given for that? It's memo or something, not memo. Memo is the one when you're removing a person. So you ask to represent your needs. You just submit some request to the politician. That's, yes, good. That way also you can do it. You can meet the representative. You can influence him. And for that, sometimes there is pressure group. Okay, pressure group will take care of that, the needs which you require. So they will act on behalf of you, then they will influence the government. And as a people, you also can meet the local politician and then submit the request which you want to be done. So this and all is directly you're holding the representatives, political representatives as accountable for their actions, are trying to influence their action, are making them act. Okay, so where the political representatives are more related here, not the bureaucrat. Okay, so even the recall function, we don't have that. In Switzerland, they do have a function called recall. What is that recall? Switzerland model is called Lanz-Gemendi model, which is they follow in Switzerland. It's also a form of democracy only. A direct democracy. It's a form of direct democracy where if the person, the public functionary, the public politician is not functioning properly, not addressing the needs of the people, is acting in his own interest, then he will be recalled from his position. This and all to ensure the accountability of the political executives, as he said, submitting the request and all. And same, like influencing that political persons to make our, to get our demands established. All these some are the ways. Okay. And election is also another process. Done. So we have completed, or somewhat something is left over. Internal audit is, yes, write that. That's all. No, that from accountability, that's it. So some of the techniques which are used by, by the department itself. Internal audit, for that only you make us a paragraph. Internal audit, put a heading internal audit. Then you write below that some techniques, some of the techniques used by the department to establish control over the administrators. Are used by, I myself don't remember what I tell. Some of the, please read it for me. Some of the to establish control over the administrators are colon number 1. Number one, personal management. Number one, personal management. Put a hyphen and write disciplinary actions. Disciplinary actions. Disciplinary actions. Like demotion. Disciplinary actions like demotion, suspension, termination. Termination. Okay. Then second, efficiency survey, efficiency survey. Third, professional standards. Professional standards established by the department in the name of code of conduct. The department in the name of code of conduct. So next one, hierarchical order. Hierarchical order. Hierarchical order. Have you annual confidential report? Annual confidential report. Annual confidential report. Annual confidential report. Investigations and inquiries. Investigations and inquiries. Investigations and inquiries. Okay. Done. So that's it. Accountability is over. Actually, I was searching for that word. I don't get. Actually, that we call as Manu in Tamil. I don't know how you call in English or in Hindi. Now you go and submit your request to the politician. As he said, this is to bring in accountability of a politician. We try to do. I don't remember the name. They try to submit the request in the form of letter. No, what you call that? It's a form of manifesto only. No. Okay, I thought it's a manifesto, but I thought it's not like similar to a manifesto also. So in Tamil, we call a proper word is there. It's like Manu. In Manu Smriti, that word Manu is used. And we used to go and delivered to the politician of the local area. If something has to be addressed, then it will be submitted to him. So these are some of the ways where political executives accountability will be strengthened. This election recall, all these types of tools. Next, we will start with the laws, rules, and regulations. Before going to good governance, we'll see what are the source of ethical guidance. Okay, laws, rules, regulations, and conscience as source of ethical guidance. This is a topic. Laws, rules, regulations, and conscience as source of ethical guidance. Let me first discuss. Then if we have time, we'll take notes. First, let us discuss this. Maybe next class also we can take. So it's generally, see, this is a very, very dry topic, but you'll get questions now and then. Almost some 6 or 7 questions has appeared from this topic. No, it's less. It appears every year. It appears every year either from conscience or from laws and rules and regulations. There will be a question. It's a very dry topic of your ethics. What we are going to do is that, do you remember the first class where we made a diagram? Ethics always try to judge a person's behavior, or guide a person's behavior based on laws, rules, and regulations in 2 ways, or based on moral standards. This is the way we have studied the diagram. Do you remember that? I don't know how many of you still remember. Like this we have drawn, and the values underlying those actions. Okay. As right or wrong or good or bad. This way we have discussed this. That topic, that diagram is connected to this topic only. The laws, rules, and regulations and conscience, how they are going to act as a source of ethical guidance. No, when we are going to decide a particular case, how we are going to consider all these things. So what is law? Generally, they will be asking a question like this. What is the difference between laws and ethics? Okay, how law and ethic can be differentiated from each other, or which way they are similar to each other. This way already questions has appeared. And some popular statements, I already told you, same questions will be repeated again and again, but in different pattern they will ask the question. So one time they also asked that, when we are discussing about law, I will mention about that statement like this. Not all, slightly change this statement. Not all illegal acts are immoral. This is one statement which states about the difference between law and ethics. Okay. And not all immoral acts are illegal. This way, the statement they have taken, and then they asked a question. They asked you to give the meaning. Okay. So this way, there will be some pattern they will change. But the question, answer, you have to write the same only. You have to write what is the difference between law and ethics, or rules and ethics. Okay. So what is a law? Generally, what is law? Set of principles. That's all. There is some difference. No, ethics is also a set of principles. Law is also a set of principles. Then what is the difference? There is a body. Codified. So I'll come to that section. There is a body which is trying to give an organized set of standards to be followed by an individual. Okay, an authorized body is going to form some standards or guidance for your behavior, and you have to stick to it. If you are trying not to stick to those standards or rules or regulations provided by the body, then what happens? On violations, you will be punished. But in case of ethics, that's not the case. Although there is some concepts like God is there, God is watching. Then when you die, there is transmigration of soul concept is there. Again and again, you will be born. Doctrine of karma is there. Or you will go to hell or heaven. If you are doing good deed, you will go to heaven. Or if you are not doing bad deed, you will go to hell. Or there is a book called Garuda Purana, which says about 18 types of punishments which will be given in hell. And you will be fried in, like a chicken 65, you will be fried there. Or you will be burned in a pot, like Zumba, they go, no, tribals. Put you inside a pot, they will go around and around. Every day, morning it will start, and every day this goes on a cyclic process. Every day will be into that punishment. These types of fear they are creating in you, but there is no open punishment which will be given for you under the break of ethics, moral principles. But when you are breaking a law, it will inflict punishment on you. No. So these are some of the differences we can see. And again, as he said, it is defined and precise, and it is in a codified format. Laws are, but moral principles are not in that way. It is not properly defined, and we don't know who has given that moral principles to us in many cases. It's just passed from people to people. So this is some of the differences we can see between the law and moral principles. But both are mainly created in order to bring regulation in the behavior of the individual, bring regulations in the behavior of individual, as well as to guide how the individual has to behave in a particular place in the society, how he has to behave. See, this statement is also saying about that only. Not all illegal acts are immoral, and not all immoral acts are illegal. So what's the difference? Give some examples for me. So one time they asked a question similar to this, and they changed, instead of illegal and immoral, they used ethical. That's it. They have asked a question like this related to this. Not same. So this statement can appear anytime. Killing some person. Okay.
In case of
defending ourselves, it's not considered an immoral act. Okay. Then not all immoral acts are illegal. What? Which sexuality? I don't. Homosexuality. Very good. At that time, it was illegal. So it's not immoral, but in some cases, morality is also bought from. See, this is one of the confusion we can get. Some moral laws. How we are buying it? People derive it. People derive that moral principles. When people are trying to talk about moral principles, what they used to say that something is considered sin. Some is considered sin. No, that even women are not. You take Vedas. It differs from place to place and situation to situation, generation to generation. These moral laws will keep on changeable. So here, as she said, take that example. Homosexuality, is considered as illegal previously. Now it is not considered illegal, but even to this date, it is considered as immoral in certain places. Is it true or not? So there is always some contradiction which is between the illegality and immorality. But now we are trying to rectify the illegal nature of homosexuality. We are saying that if it is not an unnatural sex, it's not considered as a crime. So we have to, give recognition to these peoples also. So this illegality is removed, but certain places immorality is not yet removed. So that is a major issue when it comes to that a social worker, his religious his religion does not support these types of unnatural sexes and it considered it as a sin. So, and some moral principles support it. Some religions support it. Some do not. Okay, so that's something which is different. Any other examples you can give? Not all immoral acts are illegal. Huh?
Marital life is not illegal.
It's not illegal. It's now there is a law now to guide that. That is don't say it is illegal. Now judiciary is taking into consideration. If there is a marital, if there is a marital, it's also an illegal act only nowadays. If a person complains about her husband that this is the way he has treated me, then it will be taken into consideration. Okay, fine. We'll stop there. No more conversation about it. What is immoral act? Give an example for this. Telling lies. It's an immoral act. No, as far as what we are doing, we are telling lies simply daily to everyone, done now and then. But there is no illegality. If there is considered illegal, then what happens? We will be receiving punishment for at least 50 times a day. So it varies from person to person. So like this, we can see there is a difference between both. Sometimes some is considered as illegal and sometimes both. The act is both illegal and immoral also. Okay. Or it is both legal and moral also. So like this, there is some similarity between them. There is some dissimilarity between them. And then what is the relations between laws, rules, and regulations? Yes. Laws, rules, regulations. We already seen on the previous topic. Now, what are regulations? Simply put like this, a diagram, okay? Laws. Then comes regulations. Then there is rules. Okay, then inside is conscience. This is the relation between these four terms. Laws, regulations, rules, and conscience. Regulations are legally accepted rules. Regulations means legally accepted rules. Okay, it's formed by a regulatory body, an authority forms that. But rules is not like that. Any individual can frame a rule related to an individual. There is an individual rule, there is a house rule, there is a community rule, there is a society rule. So anyone can form a rule, but regulations are not like that. It's legally codified rules. And then comes conscience. Conscience is last thing that is within every person. Every person has a conscience of its own. No, is it true or wrong? Don't say me, I have removed it and kept outside somewhere. So that three is guiding from outside and one conscience is within us and it is guiding our behavior throughout our journey, throughout our life journey, starting from the time we wake up till we sleep permanently. It is trying to guide our actions and it is within us, traveling along with us. Okay. So that is our conscience. And conscience is very important topic because every year you will receive a question or in alternate years, you will find a question about conscience. So what is conscience? And there it is connected to a natural law. As humans are born, they have the rational being. They are a rational being. They have a rational thinking. They can question whatever things that they see, they feel, they try to question it. And when they're trying to question it, they are trying to realize it through their heart, the so-called the conscience. So they try to analyze the situations. And it's a natural law. How natural laws are born? How natural laws are born? From every individual, it's a subjective in nature. Every individual has his own thought. You're walking, you're trying to do certain thing, you're trying to do certain actions. Then you analyze it. What you have done is right or wrong. Every time you will not take a law for reference. You know that by the way it appears. You are just seeing a dog in the street. Then you are very bored. Now we are taking one stone and beating it. It shouts and cries, no. It cries and runs. Now there is an enjoyment inside. But the dog is in pain. And as a rational human being, a person who has a good conscience definitely knows that if I'm going to hurt a living being with a stone, it is going to shout in pain. And putting yourself in that place, no, not like a dog, consider yourself in the place that someone is hurting you with the stone. And what happens? You feel a pain. That is called natural law. So you're realizing something from your heart that, okay, if I'm going to behave in this way, if I'm going to talk in this way, this is going to hurt someone. So that is called conscience. And there is two types of conscience. If I want to say, conscience is called as antecedent conscience and antecedent conscience. Okay. And consequent conscience. Conscience itself is of two types, consequent and antecedent. There are various kinds, but generally we are considering conscience in two ways. One, antecedent conscience means before you're going to act, before you're going to perform certain action, you try to analyze by yourself. No, you're trying to analyze within you. No, so I am going to do this. I'm going to exhibit this type of action. I'm going to speak in this manner to this person. Whether this will hurt, that person or bring pain, and I'm committing certain action in this way, whether it is going to create a pain or something. So this is antecedent conscience. You're foreseeing the future actions. Consequent conscience means we will already commit an act. Continuously, there will be one voice which will hear, which will talk to you, from inside. What have you done? What mistake, grave mistake you have committed? No, that way in films and all they used to show, no. Another you will appear in front of you and he will continually accuse you, for what you have committed. So consequent action is always analyzing the action performed by you as right or wrong. Okay, this is consequent action. One which is already over, that is continuously tallied by you. Whether I have done rightly or wrongly, whether I have committed good action or wrong action, this way you're trying to analyze, and that is consequent conscience. And for the actions to be performed by you, that is called as antecedent conscience. And various types of consciences are also there. Conscience has various names. So in exams, sometimes they ask what is meant by the inner voice, what is called the beacon light. All are same only. Conscience is called as the inner voice. It's also called as heavenly voice. Okay, that is God. As Swami Vivekananda said that every individual is a God. So God in different manifestations. If I want to worship God, then I have to worship every human being who is in front of me. That means I cannot go and do puja for you. I have to respect and care for you. That is the thing he is coming to say. Don't go and spend the money, on those gods who are not talking to you. Those who are in front of you and they are in need of help, help them. So that is something we say as the conscience. The inner voice is heavenly voice, which is heard within us. Every individual has that. Okay. Sometimes this can guide us in the right way. Sometimes we are fooled by our emotions and we make false decisions through our conscience also. Okay. That is why as a civil servant, they never ask you to follow your conscience completely. You have to stick to the rules. At the same time, if you feel that there is something genuinity, then you have to use a third approach or alternate approach to solve that particular case. Okay. So in the conscience itself, there are three forms of conscience. Like, if I want to say in the conscience, I can divide the conscience into three forms. One is the true conscience. Another one is the reflective conscience. And this is called conventional conscience or loyal conscience. Okay. See, some people, even though the voice is from within, how they try to analyze the things which has already occurred in their life or which is going to happen. They are going to take a decision. Now they are going to analyze that. How they will do it? In the true conscience, they will only consider the facts and they will analyze it based on the laws of the country, laws, rules and regulation, which is already established in the country. Okay. So based on that, factual data will be taken and they will compare it with the laws already, which is existing outside. So with the help of that is why conscience is having a wider connotation than laws, rules, regulations, everything, because everything can be applied in the form of conscience. Even laws sometimes will be like this, the true conscience. Here you are considering facts and your inner voice is always traveling along with the laws of the country, or rules or regulations which are established as a standard to be followed. That is true conscience. So there is no contradiction at all. You will always go by the laws, rules, and regulations. Conventional conscience, a loyal conscience, here comes a contradiction. That means an individual is brought up in a community. So he acquires values. How he acquires? He acquires the religious values of his community. He acquires the community values or social values of his community. So in this way, and his family values, this way he grows up. And what happens when suppose some issues is happening in his life, he's trying to stick to those values which has brought up him, which he has acquired from the religious or from his societies or from the community. So what happened? He make choices accordingly, right? For example, the social worker case study. Can we connect here? He is in a professional duty. He is not comparing it to the law of the country. The law of the country says that the homosexuality is not an illegal act. You cannot consider it as a sin. But why he is considering it as a sin? Because he is continuing to judge the action based on loyal conscience, where his religious values comes into conflict, and his religious values dominate his law of the country. So there his conscience is supporting the conventional values. Okay, that's why they used to say that every time an individual is trying to make a decision based on conscience only. We will not have a law book with us. Anyone have that idea? Carrying the constitution wherever you go. So as per the law of the country, this is how they have mentioned. And I'll act in this way only. Nobody does that. Automatically we follow our conscience only. And in some cases, people conscience will always act in parallel with the law. Okay, if law is saying so, I am accepting it. This way the people will act. But sometimes they are always dominating their own value systems, which they acquired from the society or the community where they are grown up, and they try to make a decision accordingly. Reflective conscience. Here, everything will be brought into consideration. Sometimes, you know, how the law of the country is made. There is something called as laws are of different types, you know. What are the different types of laws we have in India? So from that only I'll take the answer for this. Constitutional laws, statutory laws. Social laws. What are that laws? I've never heard about a law like that. Society forms a law for to be followed by the individuals of the society. It's called mores. It's a standard. It's a norm. It's not a law. And then we have common law. We know that. What is common law? Judicial pronouncements, judicial precedents. When a judiciary is making a move, previously there was no law that, you know, living together. When person is living together for 10 years, when a man and a woman is living together for 10 years, they will be considered as husband and wife. Judiciary gave that judgment. From that judgment, now we are making it as a law. We are going to bring that as a law. We have changed that. And the customary laws is there. No, customary laws, what is that? Like this, we have lot number of laws in India. Executive laws, now only we discussed. Executive can make a law. Delegated legislation in the name of. So like this, there are lot number of laws. In reflective conscience, what we try to do, we bring up all those things in the name of laws, in the name of our own values. So as you saw that I told customary laws. Okay, all the laws are made on the angle of natural law only, first of all. You know, which is again contradictory to the natural law, will not be made as a law at all. If every individual is thinking that, you know, something which is going against our natural law, that is conscience, against human being itself, then that will not be considered as law at all. So everything which should be in line with the natural law, and also it has to be reflective. That means it has to be analyzed by the individual. As a rational being, individual has the authority to analyze each and everything. So the law, if it is in line with the natural law only, it is accepted as law itself. And if you take a customary law means what? From the customs already which is in existence. Marital law, example, we have borrowed it from the customary law only. We have made it as a law. So this is already existing among the individuals, and this is made as a law. Okay. So in reflective conscience, what the individual will try to do, he will try to analyze all those laws, all the values. You know, if suppose some value is better than a law, if his value is saying that it is right and the law is prohibiting it. Any example can you give? So here he is not giving respect to laws only, or not giving domination to values only. In both the above cases, only law, only values. Here, which is better will be opted by an individual, a rational as a rational being. So for example, anything you can give as example, that law, what happened? Celebrating Diwali or New Year? New Year. So, yes, any? British. So that is, for example, that and all is made as a law. You know, here there is nothing coming with values. Tell something related to values. You know, generally you're saying about laws, they're exploiting the people in the name of law. That is different. Breaking? Traffic light. Okay. Is there any value connected with this? See, sometimes values are more good than law. For example, I can say like, hijab, okay. So yes, very good. Hijab laws. Nowadays they are saying that government saying that, you know, you should not wear hijab. And we don't know whether a boy or girl is coming in hijab and coming and sitting, you know, for attendance in the college and all. They are saying something like that. But that is a value held by certain religious community. So here, that people who belong to that community feel that it is against their dignity, because it is the system which they are following, the values which they are following. So they try to follow the values instead of laws here, because their religious values are saying that they have to follow this as a system, as their own morality. So they cannot go against that. In that cases, they try to, even the people who are outside of that community is also supporting that only. How can you act against the hijab? You know, it's their religious value, no? They're holding it. And we cannot form some certain law and say that you have to, should not wear hijab to certain places and all. You cannot do that. Like that we are saying. So, right, like this way we have certain laws or values. Example for especially capital punishment. Even when capital punishment is given, it's a lawful act. You know, we are trying to, what is capital punishment? Death sentence we are giving, or death penalties. We are trying to kill people for the heinous crimes committed by those people. But again, you take against values. Some people are opposing it. Why? Because they are thinking that even though this person has committed a heinous crime, we don't have any authority to kill a person. You know, to kill a person. We are not God or someone to give some punishment to these people. We can punish him by giving, you know, maximum imprisonment, but not killing him. So this way, there is some opposition. Reflective conscience will take into that one which is best when two things comes into contradiction. But that it is totally different. In true conscience, we are only sticking to laws and rules and regulations. Conventional conscience, we are giving importance to our value systems, which we have acquired. But in case of reflective conscience, which is best to that situation, we are trying to opt it, which is the correct thing, which according to our rationalization, we come to a understanding and then we choose some decisions. And in the conscience itself, there is a word called crisis of conscience. Why we call this as crisis of conscience? Already time's up. Why very fair faces, long faces? Anna, tomorrow all of you are coming or not? Are going for New Year celebration? No New Year celebration. Oh God. Monday I will not be here. I have to go. So Monday I think I will not be able to present. Second or something. Monday, na? First is Sunday. So already it is holiday. 30th, no, nothing. And your college and all will be already left, you know. Holidays are there for you or not? College holidays over. Yes. Very good. Some has already flied away. And our college holidays, 1 week, going home. So what is crisis of conscience? See, I already told conscience is like a judge. Okay, conscience is your judge. He's sitting and trying to accuse and he's trying to do a prosecutor job. Sometimes he is appreciating the decision you are making. Sometimes he is accusing the decision you are made. So that's when you are trying to follow your conscience, when you're trying to follow the line of conscience, what your conscience is suggesting to you, you're acting on it. Then what happened? You are happy and peaceful because there is a coordination, a balance between your inner thought and your outside action. But when there is imbalance, your inner voice is saying something, you are doing something differently outside. So what happens? That is called crisis of conscience. Okay, there is a word called crisis of conscience for that. And so your inner voice is saying, get up, don't be lazy, huh? But your body is not cooperating, no. Same here. Huh? The same here, and I get sometimes my dogs comes and licks entire face also. Still now not getting up. Take me for a walk. No. Yes. Time's up. 5 minutes are there, no? 5 minutes are there. Just take a small question. Case study only, case study. You want question also to try answers? Then I'll forward questions. Holiday homework. Why are you very childish? And it's New Year. 2 days you will be writing test also. Test no. Your New Year celebration is completely with books. So you don't have any individual wishes. Very bad. Oh.
And it also have a place I have not decided in this day. So I can.
And another 3 more minutes now. We cannot complete the question. And then, and how many of you are here who are not Delhiites? All of you. All of you belong to various states then. So you're staying here. My God. My time I will not be like this. Even 3 days, 4 days, I'll cry and go, mommy. Anna, my mother is not here. My mother's sister will be here in India. Then I used to visit her. Then she will call me. She will come wait there for me. And then she'll take me home. And when my mom asks me, will say, we are in hostel. I'm in hostel. I'll be there only at her home because she cannot travel down here to see where I am. So I am very homesick. I have to appreciate you people. Especially for food, because I have a good, craving for foods, and I cannot survive that. Especially it's something, the next state. I was put up in next state, Kerala, and there and all rice will be like big size. Yeah, and if you put dal or some curry over it, the rice will be up and the curry will be down. Then I lost around 7-8 kilos when I was put there. 20 kilos. So how you will be celebrating New Year then? With your roommates, with your PG mates, resting on the bed. So make some resolution on New Year. New Year is coming. So already how many years are over? You have started your preparation? Only 3 months, 2 months, 4 months? Okay, so you make a New Year resolution. So this is the starting. Then next year, this time, where I should be. Like that way you have to imagine. In this New Year, that is the first time you are going to do this. Because already you have started your preparation. So you have to make up your mind that how you have to be. How will you be living? Now you're lazy, no. You're not able to do your work. Then you have to be in the same mentality, no. You have to be lazy till your life. How can you lazy till your life? When you become an officer, even your husband will be fearful to talk to you. Are please cook for me, na? He cannot ask you. Then you simply turn like this and see. Cooking, me. There are a lot of maids. They will come and cook for you. And you are just living in your office, either in uniform, like an IPS officer, or wearing neat saris. Nowadays, I see my student presenting themselves in very beautifully. So it's very nice to see that in our traditional dresses. So like that, or even the boys, simply the wife cannot pester you. Where are you? After 5 o'clock, I am in duty, ma. I'm in duty. I'm doing my duty. You cannot question me. Because for civil servant, there is no office hours. We'll go and we'll come whenever yes, there is a driver. There is a maid who take care of everything. Why I have to be here? Like this, you can, so you not enjoy your life with power. That is important. Anyone can enjoy. But with power is important, no? Even a person sitting in a trade, making a trade, in a trade he is making per day 50 to 50 lakhs, 50,000 to 50 lakhs. Generating, no. He is also having money, happy, but no power. So power, that is only through office bearer has that power, not any office bearer. IAS officer, IPS officer, IFS officer, forest service, foreign service, both. And other services are cool. You can just walk in, engulf in a lot of money. You can even own an island. Nobody will question you. Silently walk there, walk to home. And others has a lot of power and responsibilities. Okay. So think wisely, act wisely, prepare wisely. Okay. Thank you all. We'll meet again tomorrow.